Alright, so what is up guys, it's Zero here, and today I have for you my deck list for Genesis, or more specifically the Regalias. So this is the first, I'm pretty sure there is another wave of support after this for Genesis, but this is the first wave of support for Genesis in Legion. It introduces more Regalia cards, so if you didn't know before, some of the old cards that had Regalia name were like Minerva, Angelica, Hesperus. I know those are like the three relevant ones, but yeah, without further ado, here's the new list. So here we go. So this list is actually slightly different from the one I took to Spring CS on day 2. I didn't even get to play it, but it is slightly different after a little bit of testing. There a few things. There's like one thing I wanted to change. I'll just go over the changes now. On the list that I initially brought, I was playing 3 human and only 2 of the Shiny Angel. But after playing a bit, I decided to swap back to 4 Shiny Angels and 1 Cumin. My reason for playing so many Cumins before was just because when you ride either the Yggdrasil or the Nyx first, riding a Cumin or calling one or something gets you the 3rd soul you need to immediately use their Soul Blast 3 to draw a skill, which is really good, especially going first. But I reason I swap back to this is because a lot of times your win con is using Yggdrasil's glory-like effect, and with more copies of this card, you have more ways to get more soul. Because a lot of times, before when I was playing like 3 humans, a lot of times, if I didn't draw into a bunch of like both of these and some amounts of these, I basically didn't have the soul to use Yggdrasil more than once. And I really do value being able to Yggdrasil someone more than once a game, so that's why I went back to 4 of this. Yeah, that's the only change I made from the list. I brought the Spring CS, but everything else besides that is the same. So first, let's go over the starter. I have no idea what her name is. But the important thing is that her name has Regalia in it, because your both Nyx and Yggdrasil can only use your Soul Blast 3 to draw a skill if you have a Regalia in the same column as it. So you either need to be in Legion, because then if you have the mate counts as having a Regalia in the same column as it, or having this behind the Vanguard, or having like one of the Shiny Angels. But yeah, the important thing is this thing is a Regalia name, but her skill is Forerunner, and if your Vanguard is in Legion, you put her into Soul to Soul Charge 3 and give your Vanguard 5k. So it's just more ways to get Soul. It's good. Has resist, so it can't die. And the power is nice because your Legions does not get any like on attack plus power like say Thing Saver or Wingull or the Riser cards. Yeah, the 5k actually does matter kind of, and other skills resist, so it doesn't just die. So yeah, mainly playing for the name, but the starter itself still has a pretty okay skill. So you don't feel actively bad about playing it. I do wish this card was like the Valencias and the Grappa, where it only soul charged non-triggers, but you still play because it's a playable starter. Next up, the PG, the Kushinada, I think is her name. Genesis literally doesn't have a choice how much PG it gets to play, so you're forced to play this one. PG, you play 4, enough said. Next up is the Cider. So if you don't know what her skill is on play, you give your Vanguard the skill until the end of your opponent's turn. And you give your Vanguard the skill until the end of your opponent's turn. During your opponent's turn, if your rear guard were to be retired, or your PG will be sent to drop, you put into Soul instead. So yeah, this card's already out on Global. If you play Genesis, you'll know how good this card is. If you play against Genesis, you'll know how good this card is. But the main reason we are playing this card is because this card is the only card that interacts with your Chamomiles from like areas into Soul wise, because Chamomile isn't a Regalia, you can't put her into Soul with skills like the Shiny Angel, the Hemira, and you don't really have other ways to Soul Charge because you're not playing the Amino starter like you used to, where you can just randomly blind Soul Charge it. And Angelica isn't your main ride either first anyway, so yeah. You mainly play Starter just to keep looping Chamomiles back into Soul, so you can reuse them. So yeah, honestly, if Chamomile was Regalia, you probably wouldn't play any Ciders because you would just put them back from drop to Soul with the Hemira and the Shiny Angels. But because she isn't, you're forced to play the Ciders to interact with the Chamomile. And then next up, the 4 of the new card, the Shiny Angel. So she does have Regalia name, unlike the Cider and the Cumin and the PG. So yeah, but her skill is on play, you choose 3 Regalias from your drop zone and put them into Soul. Notice how I said you choose 3 and not up to 3. You have to put 3. It's not choose up to 3. If you have 3, you put 3. If you have 2, you're forced to put 2. If you have 1, you put the 1. And this skill is mandatory. So if you wanted, the super awkward thing with this card is sometimes you want to keep like certain cards in drop to Legion, but when you play this card out onto the board, you are forced to put the cards into Soul, even if you didn't want them in there to begin with. So yeah, a little awkward, but this card does build your Soul count up, so I do think it is needed to play it in the deck in a high capacity, just because being able to Aegis Seal someone more than once is pretty needed, honestly speaking. So yeah, that's why I play 4 of it. And the one is the Cumin, so she's just on play Soul Charge 1, Vanguard Rear. If you could draw her every single game, you will ride her every single game, because that +1 Soul, like I said before, is really nice with the Aegis Seal and the Nyx. They get to immediately just ride and be able to Soul Charge. But yeah, like I said earlier, I do value the Shiny Angel a little more than the flexibility or the not even. It just feels nice to ride aside or have to do immediately try. But yeah, it's okay. The Cumin's a good card, but you honestly don't have space for more. I think these 2 cards are a little more important to play. So yeah, that's it for the grade 1s. For the grade 2, the Chamomile, whatever you want to call her. So you don't know what she does by now. From Soul, when she has Soul Blasted, counter blast 1 to call her from drop, give her 3k. So when you do something that's like on attack Soul Blast, you can Soul Blast her, call her back out, call over something, and now you get an extra attack. So yeah, she's a card that enables all your extra cool attack plays, and she scales plus 3k, which is pretty good. Yeah, she's still honestly your primary win con. This deck is still really reliant on the Camel to push extra damage, and even if you don't use her to push extra damage from using on attack Soul Blast skills, you can still call her out as an intercept when you pay for cost for something like the Soul Blast 3 draw from the Nyx and Aegis Seal. So yeah, definitely a very, very good card. Still the best grade 2 in the deck, and still a mandatory for it. Next up is the Hesperides. So importantly, she does have Regalia name, so very important there. And her skills: when you Soul Blast it, you give your Vanguard the skill when it attacks the Vanguard, retire or rear. This card is a card that lets you just pick apart the back row or pick apart grade 3s in the front. Yeah, really good. Especially good in combination with a glory-like effect like the Aegis Seal, because if you pick apart your opponent's board, their back row, you are forcing them to play more cards onto the board to replenish those slots. And if they don't have boosters and they want to hit your Vanguard, sometimes they'll need to call a grade 3, and if they call it, they could just die to the Aegis Seal. So yeah, very nice, just cool interaction there. And then obviously it still has the retiring back row, which is never a bad thing in this game. That's what I played it for. You definitely could play like a 4th of the Nyx's mate instead if you want that soul, but I honestly value the retire a lot more than anything. So that's why I choose to play 4 of the Hesperides instead. And speaking of Nyx's mate, the Hemida. So her skill is the same as the Shiny Angel. On place, choose 3 Regalias from your drop zone and put them into Soul. Yes, same reason why you play Shiny Angel. It's a way to jam stuff into Soul. Still mandatory 3, put 3 from drop. This card just also happens to be a mate to the Nyx, so it serves double purpose. So yeah, pretty okay card, I'd say. Pretty good card. And finally, the Norn. I wish I didn't have to play this card. There's a reason I'm playing it at such a small count. But because her skill is honestly very whatever. From Soul, when Soul Blast, you give if your Vanguard is a Regalia, give the Vanguard plus 5k. So see the problem there? Your Vanguard usually doesn't need the power, and this card only gives power to the Vanguard. If this card was not the mate to Aegis Seal, you would not play her at all, but because she is Aegis Seal's mate, you are forced to play some amount of her. If you are really spooked about these things going to damage, you could play 1 more if you want, but I think I will play as little as I can. I feel like 1 isn't enough, so I'm playing the 2. I'd really like to play 0, but you still need it because it's Aegis Seal's mate, unfortunately. So yeah, that's it for the grade 2 line, and finally the grade 3s. The new boss of the deck, honestly, is the CEO Aegis Seal. So again, her Legion mate is Norn, the one Soul Blast gave her plus 5k. And her actual skill is, when attacking a Vanguard, if you are in Legion, you can Soul Blast 6 to get a crit and the Glory Guard Restrict. So if you don't know what this is, the Glory Guard Restrict is if your opponent has to randomly discard a grade 3 from their hand. If they don't, they cannot PG. So this card is a Glory. That's all it is. It's a Glory. It's good. It's a Glory effect. Glory is still a pretty good card now. This card is just Glory, so yeah, it's pretty good. And then her other skills, once per turn, if in her column she has another Regalia, you can Soul Blast your draw card. So yeah, this is what I was alluding to a lot earlier. Soul Blast your draw is nice. It's just a free draw. It procs all your one Soul Blasted skills. So yeah, this is definitely your main ride. This card I usually ride into first the most. So yeah, pretty good card. And then next up is the other Legion, the Nyx. So her mate is the Hemira, the grade 2 that soul charges 3 from drop, and her skill is once per turn, when a card is soul blasted that has the same name as a card on your Vanguard circle. Okay, let me rephrase that. Once per turn, when a card is soul blasted that has the same name as a card on your Vanguard, and if you are in Legion, she gets 5k in a crit. Yeah, so this card just gets crit if you soul blast a copy of either Nyx or her mate. So yeah, it comes up sometimes, but you're all you're using her for is the soul blast your draw skill most of the time. That's really all you're using her for. The crit skill sometimes comes up, but really you will ride into this if you don't have Aegir Seal in hand, but you happen to have this. You ride into this, soul blast redraw 2 cards, then you run Aegir Seal, you're rewriting the Aegir Seal. So yeah, you're really playing just with soul blast redraw, and then. The hero trigger of choice is the Minerva, so if you don't know what she does, once per turn, Land Break 4 when attacking Vanguard, she gets the skill at the end of the battle that she attacked, actually no, she doesn't even have to attack Vanguard, just when she attacks she gets the skill, Soul Blast 3, Counter Blast 1, discard 2, restand, draw 2 plus 5k, and then Soul Blast 3 to get 5k power, and cross ride with Angelica, so yeah. It's a restander. She happens to be a Regalia name as well. Extra way to finish games, always nice. Yeah, you basically play her because she is a pretty cool alternate finisher if you don't try kill with yourself. That's it. Yeah, still a pretty good card. And the one of them is the Angelica. She's a break ride. I think break rides are really slow in the meta, so that's why I don't really want to play more of her. Although I will say her break ride skill is pretty good though. But you don't know what she does is Limit 4. When rode upon, break rides, Soul Blast 3 to check top 4, add any 2 cards to hand, and give your Vanguard 2k, and when attacking Vanguard plus 1k, soul charge 1. So yeah, you mainly play her because she's Regalia name. You got nothing else better to play. You can sometimes give cross ride base to Minerva if you happen to ride her. But yeah, you play her because really nothing else better to play. There definitely are lists floating around that just play 8 Legions and 4 Angelicas, and then the 1 Minerva. I've tried that myself, but it's so awkward. I don't really like sitting on break ride in this deck sometimes. I'd rather just get on Aegir Seal and next just start drawing cards, start playing the game. But yeah, this is my take on the deck. This is my list. Awesome games for you guys after this. Like and subscribe, all the good stuff, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.